Hello. Okay. Okay. Like they say in my school, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those on site and those online, my name is Kenneth Ubebo, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Ignite 2022. And I'm just going to run you through a brief intro into Ignite. This is the second edition of the program. The first edition held in 2019. 2020, we didn't have one. We had COVID. 2021, we didn't have one as well. But 2022, we are having Ignite once again, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all, those on site and those online. And it promises to be quite an exciting time. The people you see up on the banner behind me, like I said, some of them are already here, chatted with one, two others, they are on the way here. They are the best and the brightest. I've met them here and there. And interesting thing is, one of them showed up so early today. When he said, I am here, you know that kind of thing that your heart does beep, beep, and that kind of thing. So I say, blood of Jesus. But I'm glad that they are here, not the kind of guest speakers that you have to be fasting and praying before they show up. So they are here and they are ready. When I chatted with one of them this week, he said, I am game, let's do this. Actually pushed what he was going to do. He said, I am game, let's do this. So whether you are online or you are on site, it promises to be an exciting time. So just sit tight and let's have some fun. I'm just going to run us through some thoughts and then we'll start. This would form a background to the whole presentation. So my first question is, what is the worth of an idol? When I was in the university, we had this guy, his name was John, but he had a nickname, I have an idol. The interesting thing about the guy is, every time a lecturer would put forward a question to the students, whether he knew what the lecturer was saying or not, he usually would put up his hand and say, I have an idea. And sometimes his ideas were crazy. But like somebody said, crazy people will one day rule the world. So the first question is, what is the worth of an idol? Now, look up on our screen. Look up on our screen. Let's quickly look at this small conversation. Now, somebody tried to say, what is the worth of an iron bar? A piece of iron bar, as an iron bar, is worth $5. Now, when it's made into a horseshoe, it's worth $12. When it's made into needles, it's worth $3,500. What's $3,500 in Naira? What's $3,500 in Naira? Somebody calculator. Okay, 550. What rate? What's the rate dollar to Naira now? 580. Okay, let's use 580, current rate. Did you check up? Is that from Aboki FS? Okay. Madam will know the exchange rates now. Okay, so 3,500. Somebody will give me that figure when it's made into a needle. Now, I need you to understand the progression. We are talking about the same iron bar. $5 when it's an iron bar. $12 when it's made into a horseshoe. $3,500 when it's made into a needle. $300,000 when it's made into watch springs. What is the difference? Same quantity of iron bar, but what you do with it, that's the same thing with an idol. The value of an idol is not in the idol itself. Whether your idol is to help people go to the moon from their house, or your idol is to solve the greatest problem humanity has, maybe death. Whatever your idol is, the value of an idol is not in the idol itself, it's what you do with the idol. I'll just push forward quickly through this. Now, to bring your idol to life, that's when we talk about execution. So today we are going to move from idol to execution. And I want us to do it with speed. It's not enough to have an idea, like my classmate in school who used to say, I have an idea. It's not enough to have an idea, you must execute it with speed. Your idea is as good as the execution. The value of your idea is determined by how fast and how well you execute it. Have you heard this statement before? What's the statement on my screen? Have you heard that before? Now, you need to interrogate that statement. The thing about motivational speaking is there are some things that they rhyme, they sound very beautiful, they are very popular. But sometimes they can lose their power if you don't interrogate the statement. Ideas rule the world, somebody said. True, but they are not ideas that you keep locked up in your cupboard. Some of us have books where we write down our ideas, right? Those kind of ideas will not rule the world. They will die in that book. It's when ideas are executed that they rule the world. Now, I heard a statement from Mark Bolin. He said, your ideas can generate more income than physical labor if they were ever executed. You know that thing you are thinking? It has the potential, is potential. It can generate more than physical labor. But not when you take the idea, you write it down and shove it in somewhere, write it in your ideas book and shove it somewhere. Now, let me just show us one particular idea that somebody executed. Do you recognize this logo? How many of us are on Facebook? Oh, sorry, that's a wrong question. How many of us are not on Facebook? Not on Facebook. His hand was about to go up, but he stopped at his jaw. Who is not on Facebook here? Okay, there's nobody who is not on Facebook. Now, let me say something about Facebook and show you social media sites that could have been Facebook, but they are not Facebook. Now, today's statistics say that over 2 billion people use Facebook every month, 1/3 of the world's population. And the truth is, the figures are still going higher. Is there anybody that knows something called MySpace? MySpace. If you know MySpace, who was on MySpace? Whoever had a Hawaii, you're too young. You wouldn't know MySpace. Now, for those of us who were here in the 90s, these were some of the first social media spaces available. High Five, we don't know. Okay, Ebuka knows High Five. Friendster, oh, sorry, that thing jumped. Something needs to, okay. Friendster, we don't know. Google Plus, did any of us see Google Plus? Are you still on Google Plus? Now, see the whole thing, what I'm sharing with you. Orkut, Classmates. Now, let me tell you about the interesting thing about all of this. These are all ideas that could have been Facebook. What's the difference? Execution. The same idea. Now, how did Facebook start? Can somebody remember? How did Facebook start? What was his idea? University, just to connect classmates. Now, can you see somebody who had exactly the same idea? He called it Classmates, but he never grew beyond there. He died. What was Google Plus? Google Plus started years after Facebook started. Same idea. What's the difference? Execution. Now, that will take me to share something that all of us know. What's the idea behind Uber? There have been taxis forever, right? Somebody decided to use technology to connect people to taxi. Uber is worth in billions. Their annual revenue in billions. Just a simple idea. Connect people with a taxi. Now, see the interesting thing they say about Uber. Uber does not own the taxis. They say the biggest taxi in the world does not own taxi. That's Uber. The biggest media company in the world does not generate media. That's Facebook. Airbnb, the biggest rental company in the world, don't own real estate. They just connect people with it. What is the difference? What's one thing that ties all of them together? Sorry. Execution of their idea. It's not the idea. And trust me, Uber is not the only people who have that idea. Uber are not the only people who try to get people to connect people with taxi. There's these guys who will come up and say, oh, share your phone number. These taxis that have phone numbers on their body. What's the idea? Save our phone number. So when you need a taxi, call us. But Uber changed all that with execution. Okay, now let me quickly talk about some people who were here. How many of us have Kodak film? For those of us who grew up then, we knew Kodak film. At a time, Kodak owned 90% of the film market. Do you know what it means? Worldwide. Do you know what it means to own 90% of the market? Now, this is titled They Were Here, but there are no more. How many of us own a Nokia phone now? Now, even if you own a Nokia phone, Nokia is owned by Microsoft. So it's no longer owned. They don't own themselves anymore. But how many of us knew the famous 3310? All over. At a time, Nokia only owned more than 50% of the cell phone market. Now, BlackBerry. If you read the history of BlackBerry, one of the nations you see there is Nigeria. At a time, 40% of the smartphones in Nigeria were BlackBerries. How many of us use BlackBerry? Z10. BlackBerry was the thing. But where is BlackBerry today? They just shut down finally. Now, this is why. Strategy is not static. What worked yesterday may not work today. I'll give you a small example. Gabriel, how many people do we have on Zoom? I should ask that question because when we had Ignite in 2019, we were only on site. Now, I am here, we are on site. There are people who are online. My guest speakers are here going to speak. Somebody is speaking to us from the UK today. He's speaking via video. Now, what I can tell you, what I am sure of, in the near future, have we seen holograms in movies? I hope you know it's not stopping in movies. In the near future, so the person in the UK can actually step up on this stage, hologram, and speak to you. I hope you know it's not too far away. Oh, madam, it's not too... Now we can bring him in via video and audio, right? In the near future, because strategy is not static. Even though we want to hold on to what we have, like Nokia, they said that the person who invented the digital camera was working in Nokia. Nokia thought, no, we sell film, so they allowed him go. Now, digital camera knocked Nokia out of business. Who goes to print? Not too many people. And even printing is not digital. So nobody does this print film. So strategy is not static. It's moving. Now let me talk a little about Nokia. The CEO of Nokia made a statement. He said, we didn't do anything wrong, but we lost. And when he was making this statement, he was crying. I hope you know that you can be sincerely wrong. You know what I mean, sincerely wrong, right? You are wrong, but sincerely wrong. Now, when he said we didn't do anything wrong, we lost, it's not what you do is as important as what you don't do. That's the thing with strategy. Strategy is about what you do and what you don't do. So when you listen today, it has to bring to the fore what you will do going forward and also what you will not do. Strategy does not mean do nothing. Strategy does not also mean do everything. Doing nothing is not an option. I said that. What's that on my screen? What do they call frog in your language? Chet. You like to eat that? Where are you from, please? What's your name? Modesta. Oh, interesting. I had a co-worker. Where are you from? Anambra. Okay. She's from Anambra. What do they call frog in your place? Awo. You like to eat that? Who likes to eat frog? Okay, only one person. And it has to be that person. That person, only one person likes to eat frog. But this is the whole idea behind this philosophy. Brown wrote a book called Eat That Frog. Brian Tracy. Oh, thank you, Brian Tracy. Thank you. Eat that frog. Now, this is the idea. Quit procrastination. Do it now. Now, frog is a metaphor for those things that are difficult. You know the hard calls, Abby? Have you picked your phone to call somebody, and 1 hour later you find yourself on Facebook, you've not made the call? Hello, does it happen to only me? It's not because you don't have credit. It's a hard call. Sometimes those are the calls that actually move you forward. I'll give you a personal example. Before I spoke to my guest speakers, I kept pushing the call. But on a certain day, I had to eat the frog. I took my phone, I called 5 people. 4 said yes. 1 said, I am in a meeting, I'll get back to you. And that was a Kaito. And she got back to me and said yes. I spoke to 7 guest speakers. It's only 1 person who was supposed to speak from Lagos who said I was not available. So the number of yeses I was getting, spoke to 4 in 1 day. 4 said yes. Number of yeses, I said, why did you take so long to eat the frog? So please, eat the frog. Eat. Do that thing that seems hard. Eat it, do it, get it done, and get it over with. I heard this on one of American Idol. If you snooze, you lose. I had somebody who called me up for a training. I was driving, and he called me up and said, oh, I'd like you to do a private training for me, so and so. It took me, I was driving, so I said, okay, I'll get back to you. It took me like 4 or 5 days before I remembered to call him. By the time I called, he was engaged with something else. So I had to start, somebody who was pursuing me, I had to turn around and be the one pursuing him. If you snooze, you lose. And this has to do with your alarm as well. Those of us that like snoozing our alarm, like Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean will take his alarm and drop it inside water. Don't snooze. And then I have one word. This word is for myself for 2022. The reason why I put together Ignite and the reason why the way I intend to play in 2022. Don't shrink. Shrink means playing in your comfort zone. Shrink means not doing the hard thing. Shrink means not playing a bigger game. See, the game you are playing right now, there are people playing the same game, but they are playing it bigger. Same game, but it's bigger. I'm saying to myself in 2022, and I leave you with that word, don't shrink. My final thoughts are something I did in December that I intend to run my 2022 with. I just call it 4 quadrant life change template. I put them on top of a page, and under it, I fill them. I'd like you to write it down because this is where I'm closing. Number 1, things to start doing. Number 1, there are just 4 things. If you break your life into those 4 areas, it changes your life. It can literally change your life. Things to start doing, that's 1. 2, things to stop doing. You know there are some things to stop doing. You know that you should stop doing. 4 quadrants only. Put the things there. 3, things to do less of. It's not stop it, but hey, do less of this. It's not helping you to do too much of. It's okay, less. And then finally, things to do more of. That's it. 4 quadrants. Now, turning your life around, changing your life, something we want to do, playing a bigger game, in executing with speed, or executing your ideas at all. Some of us have ideas that are 3 years old. Hello? Some have ideas that are 5 years old. It's still there's an idea, but they've not done anything. And then, the longer you wait, you see somebody else executing the same idea. There's this statement I say to myself, Ken, when you see people half as smart, doing twice as much, you know how much you should change yourself, either by fear, by procrastination, or by lack of proper execution. So, things to do more of. And that's where I would pause my introductory presentation. So, as you go through 2022, what will make the difference is how well you execute and how fast you execute. So, it's my pleasure to welcome you all once again for as many of us as are joining us online and as many of us as are on site. Thank you all very much for coming out. And without much ado, I'm going to bring up the first guest speaker. He's my guy. This kind of person where I say, this guy gets sense. Simple. The guy gets sense. If you hang around him, if you see him do things, I'll give you one example. During the lockdown, many of us were on lockdown, right? He was running things. Somebody stepped into this place yesterday and saw him. I said, I know this guy. Ebuka, the guy who put up this thing. I said, I know this guy. Oh. We are doing this. It's an aluminium guy. We are doing this. While we were all locking down. I didn't send you my account number. I don't even know why I didn't send you. Some people were making money in the lockdown. He's that smart, a business strategist. He would love to share some time with. For those who have dealt with him and know him, they know that he has these things, ideas plus execution coming out from here and there. So it's my pleasure to welcome my very good friend, my very, very good friend, my guy. Please put your hands together for Ebuka Anichebe. Thank you all. Please put your hands together. For those of you online, send us your clap.
Thank you very much, Ken. Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Are we correctly? Good morning. Excellent. Thank you very much, Ken, for that generous welcome. Good morning, sir. My chairmen are here as well, so I have to greet them. Everyone, good morning. I want to spend the next 30 minutes, me time myself properly, just sharing with you some ideas that should make your 2022 better than your 2021, hopefully, and moving forward. These ideas, I have used them for myself and my businesses, and I'm hoping that you can also use them. My topic today, which Ken gave to me to talk about, was longevity in business, and I was thinking to myself, well, how long have you been in business that you should be talking about longevity, you know? Should you be there for 100 years, 50 years, 30 years before you feel qualified to talk about it? And it occurred to me, well, I've been doing what I've been doing, speaking and trainings, for the last 15 years. And, well, that seems like such a long time now. In videos earlier on, because some of the topics I used to talk about then, I don't talk about them anymore. So I sat down today with my wife and we're having breakfast. And next week is our 10th year wedding anniversary. And I said, wait, I've been married? No. She's 10th year, no, 10. And I said, wait, I can't believe I've been married with you for 10 years. 10 whole years, you know? And so you're like, well, time flies. I said, well, time you're having fun. She's laughing, is it fun? Anyway, that was a bit of a banter. But I realized that there's some things that are the same secrets that will give you a long-lasting marriage can also be applied in business, and that's what I want to talk about today. But before we talk about that, I want us to see it in two ways, okay? Number one will be the idea of, I don't want to just tell you strategies on longevity in business, because it's not just so much about the strategies, it's also about the person behind those strategies. You get the point? It's not so much about the strategy. Somebody can tell you a strategy, but if you do not have the mindset, right, and the skill sets, then you will never be able to execute the strategy. So you can hear a strategy, but you can't execute on the strategy because you're not yet there. And when I say there, is you don't have the attitude yet and the requisite knowledge to execute on that. And so, first of all, before we talk about the knowledge part, let's dwell first on the attitude part, because that's the spiritual part of man that enables him to do. And not everybody, some people, and that's why, I guess when Ken was talking about the ideas rule the world, yes, to a fact, ideas do rule the world, especially when they've been executed. And has anybody here heard about the agency of ideas? Anybody heard about agency of ideas? But agency, like house agents, agency, right? Agency of ideas. Have you heard about that before? Okay, so it's something I came up with. You've not heard about it, but I just came up with it. So, well, the agency of ideas is just the same way if you're trying to sell a house. If today you put your house on the market, do you tell only one person and go to bed? No, you make a list of every of your friend who you know may have somebody interested or who is an housing agent. And you tell them, look, I have this house for sale. It's 30 million naira. It's in Lugbe, and I want to sell it. In case you're interested, I'm the owner. right? And I'll tell you, 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 and I'll tell everybody. Why? Because if on the off chance you don't sell, even if I told you on Monday, and I tell her on Tuesday and she does sell, what do you think will happen? Do I come back to pay you because I told you about it? No. She will get the commission for having brought a successful deal on the table. End of story. And it's the same thing for your ideas. When God whispers those ideas in your ears, He doesn't tell only you. He doesn't tell only you. He tells him, he tells him, he tells him, he tells him. And he tells about 7 people in the world. Because some people will get the idea, maybe they're out in the beer parlor, they're drinking beer, and they will tell their guy, oh boy, I just reason one thing, that's now. And they will talk about the idea. Oh, how about we do X, Y, Z? They say, oh, mad, oh, mad, oh, mad, oh, mad, oh, mad. Hey, this, but that's where it ends. Mad, oh. And that's where it ends. It not pass like that. So you say, oh, this guy, the reason, kai. This guy, the reason where, the reason deep. And so your reward for that idea at that time is nothing but flattery. Flattery, that's all. That's where it ends. Right? Some people will go further. They won't just tell their friends when they're drinking. They'll go home and tell their wife about it. And say, you know this idea, if you do a egg, we could blow. You know, so the other day, I'm going to give you real life examples. Because I consider myself an ideas person. When I was growing up, in fact, my mom used to call me Joseph the Dreamer. You know, because I used to come up with all these ideas. And they were both business people, my mom and my dad. So I'll come up with ideas of how they can do this and do that. And they'll say, oh, Joseph the Dreamer, you just dream of all these outlandish dreams. And then they didn't call it ideas, they call it dreams, right? Because I was too young to even know what ideas were. So we were just like dreams. And I'll say, oh, we should do this, and we should do that, and we should do that. I say, oh, this boy, you dream too much, you know? And they keep me in one place. Well, now, as I grew up, I now realized you can turn your ideas into dreams. I mean, your dreams into ideas, and you can package your ideas in such a way that they don't just serve you, they serve a larger community. And my point is this. If you realize that you're an idea person, or maybe your execution, you're poor on execution, all hope is not lost. All hope is not lost. Because when God gives you ideas, He gives another person the power to actually go out and convert your ideas into tangibles. We call that a producer. And God likes people working together. He doesn't want to give you the ideas, the power, and the connections. No. He will give one person the ideas. He will give another person the power to go out executing the ideas. He will give somebody else the connection to make those ideas come to life. Your job is to connect those dots. That's your job. And it's not always easy to do, because when He gives you an idea, and he gives you a vision of what this idea could relate to, because number one, you get the idea, and then you get the vision of where this idea may propel you to, right? The challenge is that He doesn't give that same vision to everybody. And so you may go to somebody with the vision of your idea, and they may not see it because you were the one giving the vision, not the other people. And so you have to get working on it. And you have to get working on it. And you have to get working on it. And as you get working on it, you start to get what my friend will call vision partners. And the vision partners have to come and they gravitate towards your ideas. They start to believe and bring their own little resources. And next thing you know, you have all the provision to make your vision possible. My point is this. Get yourself, if you do not have the ideas, partner with somebody that does have an idea. Right? Because you have a role to fill, and people fall into one of these 3 categories. You're either the idea generator, you're either the producer, or even the critic in your family, right? That will say, this thing no go fit work. Oh. They have a role to play. But just don't put them in the same room with the dreamer. Put them after the producer has produced something, and call the person quality assurance manager, right? Because they will ensure that you don't go and make an embarrassment of yourself. And you need them. Because the worst thing you want to do is to go out there in the marketplace and bring an idea that flops because it wasn't thoroughly checked through in-house. Has anybody used the CBN e-Naira? Anybody here? Anybody? One person? Nobody has used it because it's not an idea that was thoroughly checked out. And so they started with a lot of problems, starting from the name, e-Naira, right? The owner of the name sued them and said, look, that's my name, I have a copyright for this. So they didn't even do enough, from the name. So the trademark issues, everything else just went sliding down, and they spent billions on that. Right? So that's one thing. So let's talk about what are the attitudes, therefore. What attitudes should you have when thinking of an idea so that you do not end up just in the point where you are stuck with ideas and your wallet is empty, your bank account is empty, your kids are struggling to pay their school fees, but you're an ideas person. You don't want to do that. 2 days ago, I was sitting down with a couple of friends, and somebody came up with an idea. You see, my friends are very idea-driven as well. And so we're sitting down, somebody came up with an idea, not so much a French idea, as much as it is only new in this part of the world. And he says, how about we do Real Housewives of Abuja? Right? And I said, Real Housewives of Abuja, that sounds interesting, right? But we can't do it in the same way with the Real Housewives of Miami or Atlanta, right? Because we have to make it so tailored to the market. So we trashed around the idea for about an hour. I made some phone calls, called people that, like a videographer, that could actually execute this. And in less than 3 hours, I had like a plan of a budget that would work. And the original guy that had the idea was like, no go leave me behind though. And I'm like, no, I'm just, this is how I think, this is how I think now I've gone, and I realize I've gone past the idea generation stage. And so if you tell me an idea, then you have to flesh it out. It can't just be a good idea. It has to be, okay, is it reasonable? Can we make money from this? How soon can we make money from this? Who are the likely, and I can do a stakeholder analysis of who may benefit from this idea that we have to get on board now. And I think everybody should be encouraged to do so. So as you come along, you will listen to other very great speakers who I know are building very successful companies, and you will learn from them how they've been able to. My friend Abioye, was telling me earlier in the lobby that, look, I really, really appreciate you because you've shown that no matter how big your dream is, it's possible, right? An embodiment of determination. Because I knew you when all you had was a dream, and now I'm seeing buildings all over town with your dream on it, and that's compelling in itself, right? And it's a testament to how ideas truly can be global, and if you dare to pursue it. But what does it take? Because I'm sure a lot of people have done things like, anybody done multi-level marketing before? Multi-level marketing, GNLD. We start with GNLD, back in the day. When we moved to Forever Living Products, and from Forever Living Products, we moved to EdMark, and from EdMark we moved, and sold quite a couple of them. We moved, that's what we moved, right? We kept moving. But when only one person has thought about, look, let's do the same thing for real estate markets. And when he talked about it, I know a lot of people were like, yeah, I'm sure you're going, what's that? What are you talking about? But then, if you have the right attitude, your ideas are possible. So, I want to talk about what are the right attitude, what are the steps to take. The first thing is your ability to, one second, I hope this is working. Is it? Okay, it's working. The first thing is your ability to, first of all, learn. And when I say learn, the world is changing at an ever-fast pace. The difference between me and you is going to therefore be what we know in our head and the raw materials we feed ourselves with. What are the raw materials you feed yourself with? So when time to make a tough decision comes, you're ready and you have different mental models through which you can pass through your thinking to hold it and test it for rigor. And yes, sometimes tough things will happen, but how you respond to those tough things it's not at that moment that you want to be strong. You want to be strong way before that moment happens, because it will happen. And while I wish you well, I'm telling you, it will happen, right? Those tough decisions will come. People will betray you. Business will go down. Things won't pan out the way you thought they will pan out, right? Regardless of how well written your business plan was, when you come to the market, you may realize you're too late or you're too early, right? Or somebody bigger may come and even want to swallow up your fish. And so it's how you respond at that point that determines who you are. But then it's too late if you've not yet ready. It's like going to face to face with an Agbero in a fight and you've never taken any boxing classes. Is it then you want to call on the God of David and Israel to teach you karate? You first get beaten first. And so your first job is to ensure that you have a lust and a big, voracious appetite for learning. And I don't care, I'm not going to tell you, oh, you should read books, because I realize that not everybody likes to read books, right? So some people, they rather listen. And if you realize you're more of a visual person, then every day make it a habit to at least watch 30 minutes of something visual that can teach you. And YouTube is a great place for doing that, right? You have tons and tons of great people that have documented their knowledge. There's really nothing you can learn on the University of YouTube. Nothing. Nothing. My staff was asking me that day, how do you know all these things? I said, YouTube. There's nothing you can learn on YouTube. You can learn how to do coding on YouTube. You can learn how to do a goosey soup on YouTube. You can learn how to do event decoration. What can't you learn? But it's now dependent on, I say, when people say, okay, so if it's so easy, why is everybody not doing this? I say, because not everybody knows the right questions to ask. And the questions you learn to ask, right, will determine how far you go. So those questions you learn on, people Google all kinds of stuff. But you should stop really Googling things like, oh, is Naira Marley a better musician than Portable? Because when if that's your social, what you're doing your time to do, then you quite never grow. But when you can take out your time and start asking better questions, and you see an opportunity and you want to learn, how big is this opportunity? For example, wall cladding. Wall cladding. Most buildings now do wall cladding. Like, not most buildings. But I'm willing to bet, and I'll tell you this. I was passing the other day and I saw that, well, on your streets, so you go to your office, and I saw that some buildings had wall cladding, some didn't. And I was willing to bet that because of the kind of acid rain we're experiencing in Nigeria, most buildings, especially in places like down in the south, would need wall cladding. Architects, are you listening? Most businesses, I'm willing to predict this, most businesses will need wall cladding over the next 10 years than will paint. Because they realize that if you clad your walls, your building, number one, looks modern. Number two, it's easier to just clean and it will always look new, as opposed to you painting every 2 years or every 3 years in order to get that same effect. So most official buildings especially would switch to that. And it's a new emerging market, right? Even if it has been in existence in other countries for a long time. For us here in Nigeria, it's still new, and you want to get, if you're an engineer, you want to be above, like on top of that market already, as a trend. When you see it happening, you don't wait and say, well, I don't know, I hear this thing costs well, people don't get money, and you're assuming that they don't have money for yourself. No, you go and learn it. You don't say, no, I'm only doing aluminum like this. You go and learn it first. The moment you see a trend emerging, you learn it first and you're upfront. So the person that Mr. Ken was talking about yesterday, if I know him correctly, the fine guy, young chap, and during the lockdown from 2020, when everybody was at home and they were scared, I realized that churches were buying these disinfection chambers. You know those disinfection chambers? Right? First, he told me that Dunamis had bought their own, and they said, how much they buy? He said, 16 million naira. I said, what? He said, yeah, they bought 4. I said, wonderful. The next thing, he said, Koza had bought, and he had bought from Dubai, and he was bringing it, and he bought for 99 million naira, and it was cheaper than Dunamis one. And I was like, wonderful. So, next night, I realized that a lot of people were afraid of this coronavirus thing, unlike all of you here, right? And they were basically spending a lot of money out of the fear. And I said, what is this thing? So I had to take a drive to go to where one of them was installed. And I took pictures and I did videos. Then I went back and I said, well, if we are spending 9 million naira on this thing, why can't we build it back home? And so I went out on the streets and I got to this Jabi here, just down there. There are a lot of people that do aluminum products. And I called them and so I met a fine guy and said, look, I want to show you something and I want us to try and build it. So I got the aluminium guy and I got an electrician, right? And I said, this is what we want to build. And I explained to them. And so we did a first draft and we built that for 800,000. And we sold it to a church for 1.5 million. And then I realized, wow, this can work. And so before we started building the lot, and I said, okay, why is it even so bulky, so bulky? And so I did one that was just as simple as a goalpost. It's just a goalpost, like just like this. Because I realized you just need things to spray you. So why are we spending all this money? So we built that we drew a new design. We did it for 160,000, and we're selling it for 600,000. And so it became like a bestseller. People were buying it. So that's why we're making money during the lockdown. It was really good business until you Nigerians decided not to be afraid of COVID anymore. So that business went away. However, my point is this. When you see a new idea developing, your job at that point, we're talking about speed and execution, right? Your job is to jump on it. It's not to follow your friends to admire and say, hey, yeah, this thing is nice, so hey, I'm sure you're making money. Who is they? No, who is they? The moment you see something evolving, you want to study it and ask yourself, do I have the skills? Do I have the knowledge? Do I have the network to capitalize on this? And even if you cannot personally build it, you can go and partner with who is building it or who has already built it and still get value from that. Am I making sense? I want this to be as practical as possible because it's not so much. Sometimes people see us come on stage and then we talk, and then they may think that all we do is talk, right? And I'm just telling you, I'm going to share with you my own examples, not to brag or to try to impress you, but to let you know that this is how it works, and this is what we do, and if we can do it, because trust me, I don't even change the light bulb in my house. That's just me. I'm not a technical person. So you may see me and you think I'm an engineer. I'm not even an engineer. I'm not, none of those things. But I can conceptualize an idea and I can bring a team together and I can motivate them with my words that we can do this and create value for everybody else. So you don't have to be the person that is a chemist, do you understand, or botanist to go and start a food company because if you have the insight that this may work, then by all means, God didn't give you that idea for you to be an agent. It's like somebody comes to tell you, okay, take this house, go and sell. Then you carry the pictures of the house and you keep it on your phone and it's gathering cyber dust. You have to advertise. You have to send to your people. You have to work. And then you can get the reward from that work. The ideas will not pay you. It's the execution of those ideas and the selling of those ideas that will pay you off. Next move. I'm talking about attitude right now before we talk about the skill. You remember I said, talk about the attitude first, then we'll talk about the skills. Next attitude you should have is never stop improving. Let me ask you the question. This year, what do you hope to learn? What do you hope to learn this year? Like a new skill. A new skill you hope to learn this year. So if you're a photographer, what do you want to layer now as a new skill this year? Beyond just the photography. You already have that. It's on lockdown. How do you layer on top of this? Is it going to be the editing of the photography? Right? What's going to be the next thing that when somebody calls you to the table, what makes you unique is the layer of skills you have. And that's what's going to differentiate you so that you're not like somebody that says, okay, I want cake. Then you go out and you want to buy cake. If you see cake and you see vanilla cake, and somebody's vanilla cake, right? You wanted cake at the first, but now you have vanilla cake. And then you have somebody else who wants vanilla cake, but much more like marble cake. But they have very layers, right? So you have strawberry with a hinge of vanilla and a tint of this and chocolate. And now you have 6-in-1 cake. Which one will you prefer, Beck? It's 6-in-1. So, and you are willing to even pay extra value for the 6-in-1, even though all you wanted was cake. But suddenly you're seeing a cake that has 6 different flavors, as opposed to just one flavor. So don't be vanilla. Don't be vanilla. Say I refuse to be vanilla. No, you're not saying this. I say I refuse to be vanilla. You can't be vanilla. I see many people that they are vanilla. Nothing to choose from. They're the same with the next person. So, I mean, if you don't do it, somebody else will do it, right? Because you're vanilla, because there's nothing distinguishing about you. Why? Because you've refused to improve yourself beyond the level where you currently are. And you think it's enough. When you're in your 20s, what you want to be doing is to be working as hard as possible to ensure you're not vanilla, so that in your 30s you enjoy your life. You'll be sought after, people will look for you, opportunities will be drawn and attracted towards you simply because you have every year you must choose a new skill you want to learn. I don't care what that skill is. If you think of your trajectory and what you want to do, choose every year to learn a new skill. This year I'm learning how to do acting. Yes, acting. It's a new skill. I know, yeah, everyone says, My wife said, I say, yeah, acting. Because when we come on stage, it would be nice to put a bit of drama into it, right? And actors already know how to do the method acting. So how about you add that as a skill? And you infuse it into what you already have so that you're different from every other person. And you can bring something new to the table so that you don't just say, oh, I'm a speaker, and I only want to learn how to speak. What about you bring something else different? And so you can keep learning every time to have a new skill. Let's say I learned about photography. I mean, I'm learning. I'm not saying I'm learning these things to go and change my course of my life and become a photographer. No, I'm doing it because now I can see the world through lens. And I have unique perspectives on that. And so I may not know when I would need to do it. But maybe 5 years down the line, I become a minister, right? And I say, well, we need to document Nigeria in a different thing and tell a different story. I'm able to speak the language that will bring the people I need around me. Are we together? Your skills, you don't learn because you want to eat tomorrow. You learn because when you blend what you already know with the new learnings you have, new insights come through. So never ending improvements should be your mantra. What am I going to learn this year? Just choose something that you can devote some time to. 4 hours a week is enough. 4 hours a week is even too. Like, you can learn a new skill altogether. And that becomes you. That becomes your story. You become a legend in that respect. Next is your ability to, sorry, I have to go back because I think I jumped. Right, good. Take care of your health. Everybody, you have to realize this is like very core skill. You must take care of your health because without your health, all your wealth will count on nothing. It will turn to ashes in your mouth. Right? Especially the men amongst us. Take care of your health more. Women outlive men. Right? Or like, yes. 9 out of 10 times, women will outlive. The man will die. The woman will come. That's why there's many wealthy landladies. Right? Because eventually the man will die after he has walk. 60, 50, he dies. Then she comes and inherits the earth. See, the Bible says the people will inherit the... and she inherits the earth. So take care of your health. Have a vision for how long you want to live. And make a commitment that you want to live to 80 years old. If you make a commitment to yourself that you want to live till 80, I'm not saying you will live to 80 because nobody knows tomorrow. This house can fall down now, right? But it will shape your decisions towards what you need to do. So if you have to do 50 push-ups every morning, you do that. If you have to drink much more water in a day, you do that as opposed to drinking agbo and drinking Coke and Fanta and whatever you may be drinking, right? But just by making your health a priority, not only do you look better than 80% of the population if you're in a much more healthier shape, but you would also live longer to enjoy the fruits of your labor. This is important. You can't talk about longevity in business without talking about longevity of your own life. Of your own life. So I thought that was important because I used to ignore this and I used to think, and I used to be very lopsided that I would only focus on building my mental and emotional health. But recently I started to change that approach because everything has to be in moderation, everything has to be in balance. And there's no point you being the wisest sick man. There's really no point you being the wisest sick man. I mean, he would know, right? At the height of Apple's success, and he goes down. And of course, it was no plan of his. It was kidney cancer, and it was horrible, all of that. But there was no point you having all the billions and billions and billions and accolades in the world if you're going to die and not see the extent to what your vision once was. But I want to tell you this. This is part of what I think is an attitude that only you can have. If you're a founder, or you hope to be a founder, then ensure that whatever course you have, whatever course you choose to have, whatever dreams you choose to follow, that is for a noble cause, and it aligns with your own values of what you have to have a value. And when you have that value, people will thank you for it. Because if you can live according to your values, regardless of what may happen, you don't give up so easily. You don't fold and run and, they say, this thing, the economy has a recession. You say, no, I know if you sell clothes again, no. You know, say recession, who they buy clothes for recession? Who they buy house for recession? And you run away. Why? Because it's not aligned to your values. But if you imagine that what I'm doing is beyond just this, this is a medium to something else, and you realize everything is a medium to something else. You may be selling clothes, but you're not really selling clothes. You're selling confidence. Right? You may be selling food, but you're not really selling food. Right? You may be selling well-being. And that's what you really want, well-being of the people that are eating your food. So it tells in what you choose as ingredients, from the oil you use and all of that stuff. But you're really selling well-being. So find the cause, and then you can find a vehicle that will lead you towards that cause. Every business should be built around that, because those are the ones that eventually attain this longevity, because they are not afraid to switch lanes. They are not afraid to adapt when things call for it. Because they realize, what's our cause? Our cause is not to open a radio station. Our cause is to create enlightenment and educative programs. So we don't just say, we're a radio program, we will not change. But you've seen social media is going all around you and changing the way the order of the game. No, you adopt that, you include that into what you're doing. So find a worthy cause. Find a cause for your business. So when I do public speaking, I have a training company. Well, beyond the training company, I also have other companies. But when my training company, I say, personally, my life, my cause is to see self-actualization of everybody around me. That's my own cause. Self-actualization of everybody around me is my cause. I believe in it. I do it every single day of my life. If you know me, you know that every day I'm impacting. Every day. Every single day. When I'm on the hospital bed, I'm doing the same thing. I cannot not do it. It's a mission. It's my mission. It's my own way of. It doesn't pay me the best in all my businesses, but I love it the best because it's a cause. Are we together? So if you ask me why have you been in this thing for so long, I'm going to tell you, what else is there to do? What else? Yes, there are 1,000 other things you can do, but do they give you as much fulfillment and joy and satisfaction as this? If the answer is no, then that's your cause, and you do it as much as you can. Because in doing it, you keep getting better and better and better, and very soon you become like top 5% in your industry. And that's something worth looking forward to. So find the cause. Why do I do what I do? I was watching a documentary the other day, and it was about the first self-made female millionaire. I don't know if you watched the documentary of the first self-made female millionaire. This series on Netflix. And the story of this woman that was doing hair cream, a black woman, right? And she was once she grew up from slave homes, grew up and beautiful story. And the reason why she became so successful as the first millionaire in the US, whether black or white, she was selling hair products for black women because she lost her hair out of stress, and her husband kicked her out and said she looked like a mangy dog, and it really hurt her self-esteem, and she added weight and all of those issues, right? And she said she would not allow any other woman experience the same pain that she felt by losing her hair. And the Bible says something about hair. Hair is a crown of glory, right? So she said she would never allow that to happen again, and she went and did the formula that helped women regrow even after losing it, and that was her idea. Her idea was the hair growth, but the mission, her cause, was in order to restore the dignity in the black woman. That was her cause. So regardless of the fact that her first factory went on, got burned, her second husband cheated on her with one of her best managers. All of those issues didn't deter her. She still went ahead because she had a cause. It's your cause that will pull you through the hard times. So, right, don't forget it. Money is not the cause of your business. You did not open business to make money. We open the business to make money. No, money is the outcome, but not the cause. You must have something that is bigger than just money. Are we together? Now let's move to the skills. We talked about the attitude first, right? The attitude that you have to have if you want to really have longevity in your field, regardless of what field that is. So let's switch to the other side and talk about what skills then can you start to build, right? What knowledge must you master if this is going to work for you? First thing will be, I will tell you just some things I think works. Some of the things that work. There are many other things. So people say secrets to success. There's no secrets. It's just what you choose to do, right? First thing is your ability to have and build an ecosystem. To build an ecosystem. What is a business ecosystem? I mean, you all know what an ecosystem is, right? In nature, it's the harmony between things in nature. How the water fertilizes the grass and the trees, right? And how the fruits and the birds and all of that, they help each other, and it just goes, it's like a circle of life. But in business, you also have to build your own ecosystem. And the business ecosystem is an arrangement between your different stakeholders, right, that may have their own different individual businesses. However, they come together in synergy for the collective value to be created and redistributed amongst members. That's what a business ecosystem. In other words, if you, for example, you decide, I want to lose weight, and you get around yourself 5 women that are also on this journey to lose weight. That's an ecosystem. It's a losing weight ecosystem, if you like. But what will happen is that she's going to read something that you've not read. She's going to drop it on the group. She's going to read something you're going to drop it on the group. And now the collective value of all that knowledge that everybody else is distributing in the group, everybody gets value from it. It doesn't detract from me, right? It adds to you. And you have to have it. Don't do it alone. Business is there's so much knowledge out there for you to want to attempt to do it alone. So you either build your ecosystem or you go and find one and belong in it and start contributing in it. I've built ecosystems. I belong to ecosystems. So I do a bit of both. You don't always have to be the creator. Sometimes you just go and join. If you see something that you believe in, then you join them. So if you're new in business, for example, you say, what's an ecosystem? I'll tell you, okay, for example, find a Rotary Club. If your Rotary Club is a good ecosystem, right? You find a Rotary Club, you belong in it, you share with the members. If you're the kind of giver, you give as well. Next thing you know, you have businesses you can be talking about with your members. If you like exercising, you join a hiking club, right? And you go out on hike, and today you climb this mountain, tomorrow somebody will tell you, oh, have you climbed this other mountain in Ushafa? You go and climb Ushafa mountain. Next thing you climb all the mountains in Nigeria, right? Looking for the next mountain to climb. And you may start going to Kenya to start climbing new mountains, who knows? But you have to. Because now that will motivate you. Even the days where you don't feel like climbing, somebody will tell you, come now, come, and they will come to your gate and they will pick you up. Now you can't even say no, even though you're feeling depressed. 2 seconds later, you're climbing the mountain, you start to feel all the emotions just disappear. Simply because you have an ecosystem. So please don't do business alone. When you have a business, think of who are my stakeholders, who would like to be, who has resources that I can benefit from and they can also benefit from my resources. And then you build an ecosystem that you plug into that, right? Don't sit down and say, well, these people must come to me. So not everybody has to be your client. Some people have to be your partners. Some people will be your suppliers. Some people will be your references, because where their business stops, yours starts. So say, for example, I know somebody in this audience that does culinary school. Don't sit down and say, okay, I'll wait for them to come and say they want to train. No, you go and find everybody, right? Whether you go to even marriage classes and say, well, we have culinary schools in case your wife or your husband wants to learn how to cook. This is it, right? And they say, well, we can do it in a competition, right? Man and woman cook and see which one is better. But now you're advertising this because it's an ecosystem, right? You can go to people that do event centers and say, look, we have this, you have event centers, we have this. And you find that, and you create, if you like, a hospitality hub with you at the top. But you must create your own ecosystem. I have my own ecosystems for real estate, right? I belong to his ecosystem for real estate as well. He builds a very fantastic one. And then so on and so forth. I have a book club because I'm interested in people reading, and I know readers are leaders. So we started a book club many years ago. I have some of my members here as well, right? And it helps in many ways than one for every member, including you, that's curated that. So please, by all means, make it a point of duty. 2022, belong to an system or start one. You either belong in one, start one yourself. If you don't see what you like, that means you're seeing something that is not yet in existence. So you're already a visionary. So there's already an idea in you that is begging for expression. And that's why you're not seeing what you want. So it's up to you now to build it. Because if you don't build it, I'll tell you what happens. One day, you're going to be driving on the road. Then you will see your idea on a billboard. Has that happened to you before? You will see your idea that you had in your head on a billboard. Then you'll be touching the person. Say, Ken. You see that? Ken, now my idea be that too. They don't farm. And you'll be looking like a madman. Because you did not execute. So how was it your idea? You are an agent. You are an agent. So it's like one day you're going to be passing, this house is for sale, you're going to be passing there, you see the new owners are entering into the house. You say, wait, but now me get this brief now. And you call the owner and say, oh, that house, they don't sell them. It doesn't work. So you have to work the work. All right? The next thing is, write a book. You want longevity? Write a book. It doesn't have to be a book. It could be a magazine. It could be articles. Right? It could be a documentary you start. But you have to leave something behind that your mortal state can go, but it will remain. And I think I think with book, right? You can write a book, you can write several books, but your books will longer outlive you. One, if you die and your children are not yet of age to understand the wisdom and depth of which you have, it's when you die they will read your books and they will understand the man that grandpa was. Who was grandpa? If they don't know who grandpa was, then they read the book. Right? And that's forever a testimony of who you were. So write a book, if possible, and document your knowledge. And that will guarantee you longevity, not just in business, but also in the afterlife. Somebody said every man has to die twice. Every man has to die twice. The first time you die is the day you're pronounced dead. The second time you die is the last time somebody mentions your name. So don't let that be too soon. Right? And for me, I said I don't like to die with any popular person. I don't like to die with a popular person. If I'm going to die, I want to die alone, by myself. I don't want to die and they'll say, could be and 7 others. No. Nico and her friend, you know? And nobody cares about who the 7 others. No, if I want to die individually. So they don't just say, 20 souls perished. I don't want to be a soul. Call my name, let them know. Right? Why? Because it is an individual thing to have lived. And when you die, right, it should also be an investment for them to feel your loss. I'm not saying that, people that died in Titanic and the rest of them, natural disasters, God bless their souls. But you get my point. You want to live in such a way that even long after you've gone, people are still remembering you for, now this guy, when this guy there around, they do X, Y, Z. And you have to have something that people miss. They have to miss you. You're like fuel. When you're not in circulation, your value should go up. When you're not in circulation anymore, your value should go up. When DMX died, right, all his song values went up. Same thing for Michael Jackson. The moment he died, things go up. Because now they realize there's no more of you. When you die, people should rush to your Facebook page and start downloading all your information. Right? Because they know that there's no more, they're not going to see these videos anymore. Who knows whether the family will choose to take down the videos and curate them and start selling them as DVD packs? Who knows? So you have to be sure that you're not going to be here forever, and live and conduct yourself as such, so that even after you die, there's still value and your imprints on earth are forever documented. Are we together? Let's move on. Start an award. Oh, for longevity, you can begin an award for your industry. For your own industry, start an award. And you highlight people within your industry that are doing a great job, and you set the bar, and you become the standard measure of what a great job is. Are we together? You become the standard measure of what it is to be a great job. I don't care whether you're just, you say, no, I'm too small to do this, and who told you? You started. And before you know, people like getting an award, because business is a competitive sport. People like getting an award. They will apply, people will nominate them, and they will strive to be there. And then you can give them for those that are runner-ups, you tell them this is the criteria so you can win next year. And now they start to live by those criteria. Whose criteria? That's you. So you've become the standard measure in your industry. So start one. Start an award. It doesn't have to be an award. When I say an award, it could also be even just a list, bestseller list for every month. And you can do it as a magazine, right? And you say, oh, top 10 this, and top 5 that, and top 6 this. And next thing you know, first time people may ignore you. Second time they will say this person is consistent. Third time, before you know, you become the standard measure. People start looking out for your lists. I know that because I've tried this. When I did Abuja Shelter magazine, right? We started this whole idea of real estate and getting the best developers and ranking them, and it was like, okay, first time people were like, who are these startups, right? But before you know, we started getting all the real developers across Abuja, and then you become, if you want longevity, that's the key. When everybody around the industry is suddenly lobbying to be on your list, what does that make you? You're the most connected person in the room. You're the most connected person in the room. So these are just some of the strategies you can start to implement with your stakeholders, your team, right? And say, okay, fine, what can we do differently? And if you don't want to do an award, you can start a movement. A movement is so much similar to an ecosystem, but a movement is even bigger in the sense that anybody can join a movement if it's big enough, right? And you can start a movement and it could turn to a trend, right? And you can set the movement for boy-child education, for example, because I think the boy child is being neglected. Everybody's focused on girl child, right? We do need the boy child. Otherwise, the boys are not going to grow themselves and train themselves. Somebody has to give them guidance. And so it's a pity that things like, when we're growing up, Ken, I belonged to Boy Scouts. We don't have Boy Scouts anymore, do we? It's there, but it's not active. It's not active. So I'm speaking to the president of Boy Scouts to see how that can be, brought back into, because we need it, obviously. Have you seen the news recently? Is it girls that are plucking girls' eyes? It's not. It's the boys. And so we can't have that anymore. So you can start a movement around that issue. And now, in the age of hashtags, before you know, people start to join into your movement, and that becomes a movement that can go beyond what you even imagine. But you must start a movement if you have an idea and you don't have all the resources. Start it with the hashtag and keep talking about the issue. And before you know, it will become a thing that will take a life of its own. And you will be struggling to find relevance inside your movement that you did, because some people will hijack the movement and run. And that has to be your joy on its own. So I'll tell you what, last 2020, which is now 2 years ago, 2020, I'll tell you what I started, and nobody knows I started this thing, and I feel like I should write a story and tell them, this is how I started this thing, so that people just know. Anyway, this is what we did. I'm very bad at directions. Like, I can get lost in this hotel. I got lost when I was coming here, right? I'm the only person that gets lost. I get lost. That's my job. Now, that's not very good if you're selling real estate. It's not very good if you're selling real estate and you get lost. And now you have 100 properties and you don't know where the properties are. And so I decided to use a bit of technology to help myself. And so I would go to a house and I would geotag it when I'm there. And the geotagging is very easy. You open your WhatsApp and you say send location. And I will send you my location while I'm there. And I will write the location. I can write Lifestyle Asset Hub, Guzape 1. And I'll put it there. And I will send it to my group, my real estate group. And it will be there so that whenever I need to go back to that location, I have to just look for where is that Lifestyle Asset Hub 1. And I will just press it and I will go there. So people were asking me, oh, come and show us that house. I will send them location. They'll say, I know how to use them. I'll say, just press them. Your phone will tell you how to reach there. When you reach there, it will tell you, then you can call me on a video call and I'll confirm that that is where you're supposed to be. And trust me, when I started it, people were resisting and I had to be talking to them individually to tell them this is how it works, this is how you do it, and this is how why you should learn it so that it saves you time. And I was telling them, it saves you time. It saves you time. You don't have to be coming to show somebody land every time. How many fuel you get? Did they change fuel price? And I was talking and talking. Do you know that now is a norm? It's a norm. People, you send somebody land, they'll say, do you have a pin? I didn't come up with the name pin. The streets came up with the name pin, but they said, do you have the pin? And now it's a norm. And I'm like, when I was talking about it, everybody was looking at it, say, this man, too, they do Oyibo things. This now for the streets, they do Oyibo things. But now it's a norm. It's a movement that has started. I'm happy for it because now it makes everybody's life easy. Like, I don't have to just say, oh, you want this to show? Go to the land, it's accurate to 3 meters. Go there. When you're there, call me. I will tell you whether you're there or not. Simple. Save everybody time. You can start your own movement. If you have an idea, don't be afraid to share it with the world. If it's going to benefit your industry, don't be afraid to share with the world. It will come back to you in other ways than you can imagine. Are we together? Rounding up, because my time is fast spent. You didn't tell me my time was fast spent. All right, so in summary, let me say this. I want you to not just listen to these lectures today and listen to brilliant speakers. I want you to challenge yourself to live your life as best as you can. Because as an old man once said, he said, when you came into the world, you were crying and everybody around you was smiling and laughing. Conduct yourself so that when you're leaving this world, they are crying, and while you're smiling and laughing. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you.
Can you put your hands together? Can you put your hands together? That is Ebuka Nichebe. I hope he shifted something. That's what happens every time you share space with Ebuka Nichebe. A lot he has said. I won't rehearse what he said. I just need to mention this to you. For some of you, you need to hear this again. Now, most of us are on the group platform. We are going to share the link. This is online, it's on Google, it's on YouTube, sorry. So I'm going to share the link so that you can share with people around you and listen to it again. I'm going to just do a few things before I bring up the next speaker. I'm going to talk about the next speaker. Okay. I said during the introduction, it's my habit to start a training on time. And one of the reasons I do that is I don't want to punish the early comers because of the late comers. And one of the things I also do, I usually keep a gift for the early comers. Sometimes I go out and buy a book if I don't have any. So the first person in here today, Stephen Matthew, right? Simon Matthew. Oh, okay, Simon Matthew. Please, can you step forward? This is deliberate. So put your hands together for him. Yes, okay. Ambrose is taking a shot. Okay, thank you. Now for coming late, that book is available for sale. It's 2,000 naira if you are paying in naira. If you are paying in dollars, how much is that? How much is that in dollars? $50? How much? $150. Okay, I'll prefer you pay in dollars. I like how. So that's that. So thank you very much. And for those who came in a little earlier, they had jotters to pick up. Now, the next speaker I'm going to bring up, of course, for those of you online, some of you signed in way before 10 o'clock. So if you send me your email address, I could send you that book. I don't know who signed in first online. I could send you that book. There's an e-copy of that book, so I could send you that. Just send me your email address. I'll send you that. Now, I'm going to bring up the next speaker so that we keep the momentum and the tempo. I met him online. Now, the interesting thing, when you go through pages of social media, I am somebody who likes intelligent people. Have you seen people on social media? You know that they have sense. You read their posts, you just know that this person has something. From the blues, I sent him a message. Can we hook up? Let me use that word. We met Cedi Plaza. Before we could say Jack, his wife showed up and said, honey, we need to pick our son. And he looked, I said, what? You mean like 2 hours had gone and we're just getting started? You know that we've not even entered the cocoa. I've known him for like 5 years now. And like Ebuka said, by the time I met him, Lifestyle Asset Hub, I think he was just somewhere inside. He didn't even share that with me. We're talking about other things, and he's done massively well, and I'm sure you'll be blessed by his presentation. He's the MD CEO of Lifestyle Asset Hub, doing real estate like crazy. I was at the inauguration. We sat there, and when he shared it, I went back to his office and told him, how, Mary told the angel, how can this thing be? I went back to his office. You are my friend. You cannot be doing this boju thing that would not get to the ground. I am serious. Once you tell me pyramid, I am like, when he broke it down for me, I knew he knew what he was doing. Because I'm an engineer. The figures have to make sense. No matter the stories you tell me, if the figures don't add up, I can respectfully step away. And he's done it for 3 years plus now, and he's actually getting bigger and stronger. Last time I had to meet with him, I thought I should go learn French because it's either in Côte d'Ivoire or in Cameroon or in Ghana. But he's here with us today, and it's my pleasure to bring up on stage Oke Abioye. Thank you very much. Can we put our hands together as he steps up?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for this great privilege. I feel so humbled by it, and thank you for having me. And I must really appreciate every one of you for sacrificing so much to be here today, because I know you should be doing like 5 things right now. They said once you showed up, you've achieved at least 80% of what is required to be successful. And I must really thank Ebuka for that great intro of knowledge. I was taking notes. I hope you took notes. I hope you didn't take mental notes. Okay, I took so much note, and he inspired me again. And it's very powerful when we all belong to a very unique ecosystem where we reinforce ourselves. So I feel so delighted. And I think I have about 15 minutes? 45 minutes, fantastic. Okay, good. Now let me ask you a question. At what age are you going to win the game of money? Okay? At what age are you going to win the game of money? Okay, at 25, I was foolish. Okay? At 28, I was still slightly very idiotic. Okay? And I think my life started getting a unique direction when I was 30. Can you imagine? So if you are below 30 right here today, I feel so jealous. I wish I could belong to this kind of ecosystem at your age. Okay? Then at 30, I created what I call Project 40. Okay? I created Project 40. And I simply said to myself, Abioye, because my situation was very critical, I could not even take the risk of creating Project 35. Okay? Because I needed to, when you are starting a new project, you do soil test analysis, you realize that there are a lot of bad soil that needed to do or to be excavated. Okay? Before you bring in good soil, you do a lot of compacting, and it's going to take more time to do the construction. Okay? And I created Project 40. And what was Project 40 for me? Project 40 was that when I'm 40, I'd wanted to be financially free. Because one of the things I had phobia for was poverty. Okay, at 19, 20, 22, I'd work as a laborer. So you are looking at a former laborer, okay? If you know terra culture in Lagos, who knows terra culture in Lagos? Yeah. If I told you I'd worked on terra culture as a laborer, would you ever believe? Okay, would you ever? Okay. Now, of course, July last year, I became 40. Okay. And Project 40 became too small for me. And I suddenly realized that it was too personal, it was too selfish, it was too individualistic, it was too narrow. And Project 40 metamorphosized into Project 1 million. What does that mean? Creating a million jobs in the next 1 year. Okay. And that cannot be done by myself. Okay. It can only be done by implementing some of the things Ebuka said through an ecosystem. Okay. And for 10 years, I ran my life with speed. And I wonder if Kenneth was a prophet when he said I should talk about speed. Okay, implementing speed. Okay, executing with speed. The universe loves speed. Okay? The universe does what? Loves speed. If you move too slow, you'll be outrun, not even in this economy, not even our current reality. Okay, so I want to encourage every one of you, please go on YouTube at the end of maybe later tonight, just look for Project 40. Okay, Project 40 by Abioye, okay, and watch the documentary. Like Ebuka said, write a book, do a documentary. I've applied one of the things he said we should do. Okay, so I want to encourage you, watch Project 40, share with your friends and with your team. Now, talking about speed, we can never move with speed if we don't kill certain philosophies. Because what slows us down most is our mind. Hope you know that. Yeah. And you can never move with speed if your body is a master of your mind. Are we together? You've got to make your body a slave to your mind if you really want to move with speed. Okay. If you think you have an idea, like Kenneth said in his introduction, you have a great idea, okay, you'll be shocked, and Ebuka also emphasized that idea was not given to you. Okay, but the person with the fortune is the person that did what? That implemented, that executed, not sluggishly, but with massive speed. With massive speed. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. What is what doing? Is what? Sorry? Fantastic. Okay, that was one of the most dangerous philosophies we were taught. And that philosophy has created so much poverty, okay, in our society. Because everybody believes that what is what doing is what doing well. Okay, most people have not started their businesses because they believe that they needed to do what? To do it well. Let me plan it. It took us 5 years. In 5 years, we're planning lifestyle up. The big mind to go out to execute wasn't there. Because we're still battling with the fear of rejection, what will people say, and so on. Okay. So if you want to move with speed, you need to believe in your heart, in your subconsciousness, that what is what doing is what doing badly until you do it well. Okay? What is what doing is what is doing badly. When was I last up 27th of April? We did it so badly. We kept doing it badly. We kept, failing forward. Okay. I won't say to you that we've arrived. No, we have not. We are still work in progress because it takes average of 5 years to build a solid organization. And when you are building that company of yours, build it as if you intend to sell it 5 years from today. So don't be surprised if you read on the pages of newspaper that Abioye just sold lifestyle up. Okay? So that should be your mindset because nobody will buy anything that is average. Nobody wants to pay for average. Okay, nobody wants to pay for average. So the fortune is in starting. Just start. Okay, just start. Start from where you are. So that idea you have, you don't need $1 million. You don't need $1 million naira to start that idea. You just have to do what? Start from where you are. Okay, of course, you all agree with me that nothing can be built on nothing. There must be, and I believe you all have the basic already. to build an empire for yourself. Now, let me ask you a question. I believe most of us, if you are an entrepreneur, anybody entrepreneur? Fantastic. Then we have some workplace professionals. Am I correct? Fantastic. Now, let me ask you a question. This is speed. This is speed. This is efficiency. Which is more important to you? Which do you think you should prioritize? This is speed. This is efficiency. And I need to be as real and who wants to? Yes, ma'am? Sorry? Fantastic. Efficiency, right? Very good. Okay. And that mindset too has created, in short, the deepest of poverty you can think of. Because everybody wants to do what? They just want to be, they want to, what is what doing? Is what doing well? Now you have to be, we need to tighten up the strategy. Okay? We need to ensure that we have at least 5 million naira accounts before we shoot. Okay. If you want to survive in the new world we find ourselves, you need to prioritize speed over efficiency. Because if you only get effective in the doing, you learn on the job. You learn on the job. Okay, so you've got to do what? Prioritize speed. Speed is action. Okay, you have an idea, just implement it. Okay, look for people that will collaborate with you. Any vision you are bigger than is too small to be called a vision. Okay, your vision must be bigger. It must be clear to you that only you can never achieve this vision. What keeps me inspired every day is because I know in my heart of heart that lifestyle love is far bigger than me. And every day I keep looking for vision partners. I keep looking for vision helpers. Okay, creating an ecosystem of co-visionaries. Okay, because poor people are poor because they want to own 100% of everything. Okay, never aspire to own 100% of your business, please. Okay, never do what? Aspire to own 100% of your business. And I have some notes I would like to share with you on the strategic importance of executing with speed. Okay, because this, like in Abuja, for example, God knows the number of real estate developers we have. Okay, it's massive. What I mean, the competition is what? It's massive. Okay, so what that simply like you must distinguish yourself by the speed of implementing the unique nature of your business. If not, somebody else will echo it louder than you. Then you do what? You just do the catch-up. Very good. All right. Very good. So now look at this. Getting in early and doing it what? Fast. What industry are you playing in right now? Okay, what industry? Okay, fashion, for example. The fashion industry is old, one of the oldest industries. But guess what? You can create a sub-industry within the fashion industry that is unique to you. Okay, that becomes your what? Your niche. Okay, something unique to you. So what you need to ask yourself tonight, is that what am I going to do differently from every other fashion designer in the industry? What is going to be my own gift? Every industry you go into, it is a great disservice to any industry you enter that you don't even go with a gift to the industry. That means you are just leveraging on what others have done. That means that is not, like what Tipuka was saying, a legacy you leave behind. Okay, so you need to first ask yourself, what is my gift to the fashion industry? Okay, and that gift of yours is the creativity you want to bring to that fashion industry or any other industry you find yourself. Okay, then you now need to ask yourself that how fast do I need to do what? To implement it, because you've got to do what? Get in early. Because the same unique thought, the same unique market proposition that you think you have, another person has that same idea. Okay, but you need to what? Get in fast and do what? Get in early and do it fast. Okay, you've got to be crazy this year, trust me. You've got to behave like somebody that is possessed. You've got to be possessed this year. Okay, you've got to act possessed. Okay, see, 1 year well spent can change anybody's life. 2 years well spent can change anybody's life. If you don't sleep, people can say we should take care of our health. I totally agree. Okay, and one of the best ways we can take care of our health is to do what? To sleep, have enough sleep. But you can say to yourself, you know what? Ebuka, you permit me. They say we should sleep for 8 hours. Ebuka say, me, I won't sleep for 8 hours. But in the next 1 year, I'm going to sleep for 5 hours a day. It will not, I just promise myself that after 1 year, I will have gotten what I'm looking for. Then I will reward myself with 2 extra hours per day to sleep. Then I can sleep for 10 hours in a day. Okay. But you must first do was pay the price. Then those periods you were sleeping for 5 hours, you supplement your body with some food supplements. I've been on food supplement for the past 10 years. I have at least major 5 supplements I take on a daily basis because I know that once this health breaks down, nothing makes sense again without health. Okay? So you've got to be as early as possible and you've got to be as fast as possible. Very good. Working hard and getting things done what? Fast. See, executing with speed requires a lot of hard work. Sorry, I don't believe in smart work. It is smart. We have to work smart. Work smart. Hard work is smart. Are we together? Hard work is what? Smart. Okay, what makes your hard work smart is when your hard work is backed by knowledge. Are we together? Once your hard work is what? Backed by knowledge, you are one of the smartest person in your industry. So what that means is that if you want to execute with speed, you've got to read at least 5 good books in your industry. Okay, you don't even need to read up to 6, trust me. Sometimes people come to my office, they'll see books on my shelf. You've read all this. Okay, sit down there. No, they are just there to keep me inspired. I just like to be looking at the topics. Trust me, most of them I've not even read. Okay. Maybe one day Kenneth will say, Abi, come and speak on this topic. I remember I have a book that is close to it. I will quickly do what? Quickly go and read it. That will give me the motivation to do what? To read the book. But I know that for me to be successful in my industry, I don't need to read more than 5 good books. So when I act, my action is based on what? On knowledge. Anything based on knowledge can hardly be destroyed. It's very difficult. Very, very difficult. Because sometimes they say passion, you have to be passionate, right? Okay? But you know that you can also be passionately wrong. Okay? You can be passionately wrong. You can even move with speed, but guess what? You are progressing in error. So your speed must be Must be controlled by knowledge. Okay, that's why Jim Rohn said that work more on yourself than your what? Business. How best can you work on yourself than your business? By doing what? By feeding your body, your mind. Okay, by feeding your mind with what? With the right information and the right knowledge. Okay? So hard work is what? Is what? Hard work is what? Smart work. Do we agree with that? Very good. So let me be sure I've not jumped. I'm talking about speed, and my slide is moving with speed. Now, look at this. A few months of hesitation can mean what? The difference between leading and what? Chasing. Okay? A few months of what? Hesitation. Okay, some of us, you have great plans for the year already. Okay, you are still slow. The year is still fresh. It's still January. By February, I'll be crazy. Like I said, we should be. You'll be surprised that by that February, you'll just be chasing, while others are what? Leading. Okay, in every industry, the people that make the most of the fortune are the leaders. So they just leave the crumbles, the leftover, the remnants for others, for the chasers. You've got to be a leader in your industry. Okay, you are in the fashion industry. Tell yourself, by December this year, I will be a name to be reckoned with in the fashion industry because of my innovation. Okay, ma, what industry are you in, ma? Sorry? Okay, you are a workplace professional. So then what industry is your... Sorry, public service. Fantastic. Even as a public servant, who says you cannot lead change? Okay? You can lead change. Okay, you can influence so much that your palm sec will not take any decision until he or she consults you. I'm telling you. And I encourage you, people in your industry or in your career, to read the book by John Maxwell, The 360-Degree Leader. Okay, the 360-degree leader, how to influence your subordinates, your colleagues, and your what? And your bosses. They simply eat from your palm. If you can read that book and implement it. Okay? So please don't hesitate this year. You've got to do what? Just do what? Start from where you are. There's never a perfect time to start anything very good. Okay? Number 4. Okay. All right, thank you. See, look at this. In the new economy, it is not possible to get... In the new economy, it is now possible to get big fast in a way that simply wasn't feasible decades ago. Do we agree with that? That it is very possible to do what? To get big, real, very, very fast. Okay. Aliko Dangote is what? The richest black man. Am I correct? How long has he been how long has he been in business? About 30-something years, right? Facebook, I'm sure if I'm correct, the founder of Meta or Facebook is richer than Dangote. Am I correct? Yes. How long has he been in industry or in the business? God knows. Probably at least about 10 years, right? 12 years. Exactly. Okay. So what that means that if technology cannot support your business, you are not in business. Okay? Because one of the enabler of speed is technology. So if you cannot apply technology in your business, sorry, go and look for another business. Okay? If you cannot apply technology to speed, to create speed, okay, to blitzscale your career, I'm sorry, you are not in the right career. So technology must do what? Must support your business. Okay? And tap into the rich ecosystem. You know, Ibuka spoke about the ecosystem and we're not together. Okay? When he was preparing his content. Okay. Now, tap into the rich ecosystem of service providers and outsourcing companies to support your quest for rapid what? Growth. Okay. If you want to move very fast, especially those of us that are into business here, okay, you've got to do what? Do a lot of what? Outsourcing. Okay? You've got to do a lot of what? Outsourcing. Because you cannot afford to pay for the professional services of those experts you need for your business. If you want to employ them full staff, you will crash. Are we together? Okay? So it's important that you do an x-ray of your business. Then you ask yourself, which aspect of my business am I going to outsource? I will outsource my accounting system, for example. I will outsource my tax remittance, aspect of my tax remittance. I will outsource the legal aspect of my business. I will outsource even the social media management aspect, marketing of my business. Okay. Do you know that you can run a world-class organization just only you by the desk? You know what you have done? You've outsourced everything. Even your executive assistant is outsourced. Do you know that a young lady or a young guy can be an executive assistant to at least 4 executives? Do you know it's possible? That's just a business idea to some young people in our midst, for example. You can be an executive assistant to like 4 CEOs. You don't need to see them on a daily basis, but you are helping them plan their days on a daily basis. Okay, so if you want to move with speed, you've got to do what? Outsource and identify those service providers that will support your business. Now, speed as a strategy, okay, speed as a strategy is not about get big fast, but involves purposefully and intentionally doing things that do not make sense according to what? Traditional business thinking. Okay? If your strategy makes sense and aligns with traditional business thinking, you are not disruptive enough in your thinking, and what that simply means that you cannot achieve that rapid growth. Because whether you like it or not, the industry, every industry has a way of rewarding the people that comes with the innovation, the people that comes with what? With the creativity. Okay. For example, when we launched Lifestyle Hub, it didn't make sense to many. Even till now, it still does not make sense to a lot of people. You know, sometimes you can even have a great vision, but you lack the intellect or the knowledge to even communicate it effectively. Are we together? Yeah. One of my own biggest prayer right now is, oh God, please give me the intellect to be able to communicate this vision even better. Because a vision better communicated is a vision that achieves higher level of buying. Okay? So what that simply means, for example, somebody called me one day. He said to me, Abioye, I think you are moving too fast. Okay? I think you are moving too fast. How are you sustaining that you have a sites, you know, about 4 different sites in Abuja, you have in Port Harcourt, you have in Enugu, you have in Lagos, you have in Ibadan, there is Accra, there is Douala, Cameroon, there is Nairobi, Kenya, blah, blah. I think you are moving too fast. Okay? That he thinks I need to slow down and just consolidate proper. Okay? I just smiled. But because I didn't want to engage in long argument, I said, thank you. I will look deeply into what you've said. And truly, out of respect to the guy, I went back and asked myself, truly, are you really moving too fast? And I rationalized again. I said, no, because each of these locations are designed to sustain themselves. We will not use Abuja money to go and build in Enugu, for example. We will not use, and so on. So the model is designed that every location must be able to sustain themselves. So you have to do a sustainability assessment of your vision today. That how sustainable, okay, is my business, and how sustainable with this strategy I outlined will live in the next 2 years. Can it help me to sustain the stability of my business and my income eventually? So this is very, 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 very. Okay? All right? So thank you so much for creating time to listen to me today. And I must say this to us. Okay. Your dreams are very valid. Okay. Your aspirations are absolutely what? Valid. Okay. It takes you. Okay. It simply takes you to doubt yourself. Are we together? It takes you to what? To doubt yourself. It takes you to create that bottleneck to your business. Okay. And I want to encourage you that you've got to make 2022 your year of speed. It's my own year of speed. Okay. And that's what I work on. Speed in knowledge acquisition. Okay. Speed in construction, because that is where I play right now. Okay. Speed in collaboration. Because without collaboration, I will get old. Because I need to slow down the speed of this my gray hair. I don't know why it keeps growing so fast. Okay, I didn't plan for that. Okay, but I need to slow it down because there are certain things I'm asking and telling myself that you need to look for more partners so that you are a bit lighter, you know, and you can move even faster. Because the lighter you are, the faster you also end up moving. So you've got to make 2022 your year of speed, and you'll be so shocked by the time you do a review by December this year, how fast you'll have grown. And finally, you've got to say something to yourself. I'm going to buy myself this. So what is the gift? What are you going to gift yourself at the end of the year if you're able to achieve your goals? Okay? Okay. There's a particular car I've said I'm going to gift myself. Okay. But I will never buy that car until I achieve certain milestones, and it has to be done this year. And anytime I look at that car on my vision board, it keeps me very inspired, okay, and gives me some right energy to move very, very fast, okay. And of course, This works for me, and I think it should work for you too. Before you sleep every night, fantasize. Are we together? Before you sleep every night, do what? Fantasize. My current life today was a fantasy. And I'm already, people call it visualization. Me, I call it the way I think it is. It's just fantasy. Okay. The car I drive today, I fantasize about it, and I think I may be tired of driving the car. So I'm fantasizing about a new car already. Okay, where I live today was a fantasy, but now I'm fantasizing about a bigger lifestyle. Okay? So it's very important that you fantasize before you sleep. It works, it's magic. It gives you energy when you wake up the next day, because you ask yourself before you now sleep finally, what do I need to do tomorrow to make this fantasy a reality? And that gives you that energy. Because fantasy gives you a certain level of encouragement. Even in the midst of your crisis, fantasize. I had problem with my businesses at some point. I suffered 2 court cases. So some of you will say, you have problem. I'm not sure you've had problem as much as I've had. Okay, I managed debt for years, but I was making money in millions, but I was using to pay debt. Okay? In short, I even sold my precious car, okay, to pay off debt. So I had lots of challenges. I was almost going to go back and pick my certificate. But I asked myself a question that changed my life. That, Abioye, who would you become if you overcome these challenges? Who would you become if you overcome these challenges? And the person I was going to become, I find it very inspiring. Okay? And I kept pushing. I kept pushing. Okay? It will interest you that some of those creditors, okay, then they are now debtors to me now. Okay, I'm even planning to even buy one of those institutions the one that gave me the biggest of the headache. I said I'm going to buy it over, and I will likely buy it very soon. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So, and it requires, thank you, and it requires you to live your life purposefully with because when you have purpose, you'll be able to. Purpose gives focus. Without purpose, there can't be focus. Because when you discover your purpose, it helps you to say no to certain things. Like this year, for example, I told myself I was never going to do certain things I did last year. There are certain places people saw me last year. I said, oh, no. Based on where you are going, you are not supposed to be in this kind of gathering this year, 2022. And most of the people that were dragging me into those gatherings, I quickly sent them a notification that, sorry, I will not be available this year. So don't even bother inviting me. Are we together? Okay? So you've got to ask yourself that, what am I going to do differently this year? And execute it with so much speed. So much speed. You want to make, what's it called? You want to make 500 million naira this year? It's possible. Okay? Divide it into 12. All right? That gives you your monthly KPIs. Divide into 30. That gives you your what? Your daily KPI. So that helps you to know every day. You ask yourself, am I closer? Am I closer? So the day you are not closer, you don't have the right to sleep that day. Trust me, you don't have the right to sleep that day. Okay, because what that simply means that you need to ask yourself all night, because when most times wealth is created when the sun is set. Wealth is created when others are sleeping. You know, the internet works better when everybody is off the internet. That's better. Eh? You know, even God has more time to listen to you because most people are sleeping. So there are less people talking to God by that time. Okay, so it's very powerful. Okay, and please never compromise the God factor. Whatever you believe in, okay, God enhances your speed. Trust me, it does. Okay, God enhances your speed. And take all those goals to God, and you'll be so shocked how well God will say yes to you, okay? I would like to stop at this point, and I would like you all to do me one big favor. It can be very painful and tedious, and I just hope you'll be kind enough to do this for me. I would like you all to please clap for yourselves for being so kind and patient with me today. God bless you.
Can we put our hands together for this? These are the kind of men you see and you say, dear, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate your time. You heard about 2022. He sent some people a message saying, I'm not going to show up in some of those places, but he's here. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And he shared his heart, he shared himself. And that's about the best you can get. You know, they say on social media, people only share their successes, right? All the pictures are with filters. But he shared his challenges as well. And something he said has stuck with me. Who will you be if you overcome these challenges? I said something to you about 2022. Don't shrink. He could have shrunk and gone back, but if you overcome this, who will you be? Now, something the book has said, I'm quickly going to deal with that. Now, if you are with us online, you can drop your details on the platform, we'll reach you. Now, one of the things he said, Ebuka said, interestingly, I had a 20 minutes conversation with Michael yesterday. It borders around the same issue. Business is hard enough. If you do it alone, it's even harder. So for as many, and interestingly, I actually came prepared for this. Please, Harrison, help me out here. As many as want to, Ebuka said something, either join an ecosystem or set up one. So as many as want to join a business ecosystem, I am setting up one as I talk to you now. Came to me like December last year, and I just put it out there. The feedback I already got, as far as even Shagamu, makes me say, okay, this is the right thing to do. Ebuka spoke about it. He spoke about it. I had a 20 minutes conversation with Michael here yesterday on that same ecosystem thing. I have these forms here. If you want to join, it's strictly business ecosystem. Don't do this alone. Gabriel said to me, Ebuka, Gabriel said to me that 1 month ago, they called him for the dog fumigator. And he couldn't source it. And I told him, why didn't you call me? And I will call you. Imagine he was in an ecosystem and he drops, I want this. Ebuka will pick it up. That's the way it works. Don't go alone. Don't go alone. Don't go alone. Go with somebody. So Harrison, please pass it around. If you complete it, I'll get back to you. It's a business ecosystem. It's starting in Abuja. And interestingly, I dropped Abuja. Somebody in Shagamu says, Ken, please bring it to Shagamu. So it's starting here, but it's spreading all over the country. And one thing I believe sincerely, entrepreneurs will save the world. Write that down. Go check it out. Entrepreneurs will save the world. Now, we are going on with this program. We've had 2 presentations, and somebody said to me, can I ask a question? You absolutely can ask a question. So I'm going to bring up a panel upstage, and we're going to do something. We've spoken about speed. We've spoken about strategy. Now we are going to look at how do we balance speed and strategy. And that will give us a chance to also ask 1 or 2 questions. So I'm going to bring up, first of all, somebody interestingly, what technology had made possible. I knew him long before I knew him. We've been talking and sometimes yabbing each other back and forth. He can find trouble on social media, him. He used to post some things. I say, brother Mike, but okay, thank you. So we knew on social media before he moved into Abuja, and it's been my pleasure talking with him, sharing with him. We do similar line of business. It's been my pleasure. So I'm going to bring up on stage to anchor this section, Dr. Mickey. He is Stephen Michael. Please put your hands together as he comes up. Now, I need to say this to you. There are some certain people here that if I invite them up this stage, they want the ground to open and swallow them. This man can teach you how to step up on stage. Has anybody enjoyed the 2 presentations? Not be magical. There's a method to the presentations. So he can teach you. He's my very good friend. That's why we call him Dr. Mickey. If you have problem with public speaking, he will cure you. He's a healer. I like his vibes. So that's Dr. Mickey. So I also want to welcome the man himself. This guy gets sense. You see this? I heard recently that they say that people with bald head, they should be hiding. That there's gold inside the bald head. Did you hear that? Please, Ebuka is now an endangered species. We need to protect him at all costs, please. But he has sense, you are sure. Now, what they don't understand, there's actually gold in the inside the head, but it's the ideas. It's not to go and break somebody's call and bring her go. Ebuka, you're welcome back off stage. Of course, he doesn't need introduction. Put your hands together for Yoye. Takes up. Now, you are going to get a chance to do a deep dive. Michael is going to take the few questions, and then, Michael, do they write their questions down or they can stand up and ask? Okay. Now, if you have any question from the two presentations or outside the two presentations, maybe your question is your business specific, please put the questions together, pass it on to the ushers, and then I will get it to you.
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Entrepreneurs, good afternoon. Oh. How are we doing? Mr. Ken, I don't know if we can have a second mic, or do we have to be rotating? Okay. So just before we start, let me make this announcement. I'm a very realistic person. So for my co-contributors, I would like to ask questions, and I would like to ask questions that people want to ask. And I'd like to bring you back to reality. I'd like to ask questions that I feel that are very important. So it is very important that you stay very, very active, participate. If you have questions, write it down. If you can't write down your questions, just let anybody to know that you want to say it with your mouth, because there are some questions that are very complex. If you start writing them, you will fill up the notes, and we don't have enough notes for you. So the second thing is, my name is Dr. Mickey Stevie Michael, and I'm the founder of Fodax Group of Companies. We provide training on public speaking. We also have a marketing agency, and we run the Fodax Multimedia Company. These are different businesses. We have branches in Lagos, Abuja. We just launched the Uyo branch, so I don't know if you heard about it. Yes, I did. So we're grateful to God for that. But I'm not here for myself. I'm here to do justice to the topic that was given to me, which is building businesses that last. So I'll be asking my presenters, what should I be calling? My presenters or? My co-presenters. Well, the presenters sound something. Somehow. I'll be asking the mentors, I think I should use the word mentors, a couple of questions in the area of building businesses that last. And then we'll take it up from there as the questions emerge.
Okay. Right on time, she came in. Right on time. So please, can we welcome Ikaite Umo to the stage? You know, there are people, they say doings. If somebody is nodding her head, if you have an idea of what this woman has done, you will say, I'm sure some of you will see her, you will just say, you will shake her with two hands and bow your head and raise one leg up. I don't want to say too much, but she is a doer. So she's here to share from her long history. Have you ever built a business and sold it? You talked about that, right? That's a doer there. Built a business and sold it. That thing, it gives me, Mickey, it gives me go for that. Yeah. Sell it. So please, you can take it away.
All right, thank you very much. So straight to the discussion. The first question I would like to ask is, we're talking about building a business that lasts. So my first question would be, in your own experience, what is that one thing or two things, but not more than two, so that we can boil it down to the most important ones that make startup businesses to fail? No, I'm not going to start with you. I'll give you some time to relax. Yes, it's very important. So I'll start with my guy here. I want to know, in your own experience, especially in Nigeria, what are the common reasons why businesses fail in Nigeria?
Okay, like you said, I will say my top two. The first will be that most young entrepreneurs start up businesses without allowing the business to be alive first on paper.
Without allowing the business to be alive first on paper.
Which is lack of a business plan. So because once you have planned the business, it gives you direction. Your business plan is like the Bible, the constitution of your business. It allows you to know how many staff you need and so on and so forth. Of course, when you start implementing, certain realities will always set in, but of course, you always know you have a guide. Then the second one will be lack of knowledge, the proper knowledge. When the entrepreneur is not properly rooted in the knowledge of what he or she wants to go into, then at the end of the day, they will not be able to mark their second year anniversary.
Wow. So lack of knowledge and lack of a business plan. Before I move to the next person, this is what is shocking. More than 70% of real entrepreneurs out there who have been successful, there was this particular interview that was conducted and they were asked, do you have a business plan? And most of them don't have a business plan. At least not the one that is written out, the one they used to secure loan. So what happens is that the idea of writing a business plan and submitting it was built by people who are not entrepreneurs themselves. These guys called the venture capitalists like banks and the rest of them. And these guys are not entrepreneurs, so they need a plan. But most real business is not something. I mean, most times we hire people for us, and business can be very. My question is, how would you react to that? I know what is applicable to one might not be applicable to the other, but how would you react to that?
For me, I think in this new age of ours, the most effective business plan are the ones you wrote yourself. You can always give it to a professional, a consultant to tighten it up for you. And it's so easy. Just ask Google, like Ibuka said. So much you can learn on YouTube. I studied history. But at some point in my life, I was doing business consulting. I was writing business plans for people, but I never read business at me. Right now I can write a world-class business plan, but I didn't study business admin in the university. But it was all self-education. That's why as an entrepreneur, we need to believe and align ourselves with the philosophy that formal education only makes you a living, but self-education makes you a fortune. Okay, so I believe that entrepreneurs need to start learning to write their business plans themselves. And you don't need a 20-page business plan again. 3-page, 4 pages, you are good to go. Come up with your figures. They call it assumptions. Then you cannot give it to an accountant to draw out your balance sheet, profit and loss, and everything for you. That's why ecosystem is key. Once you have a friend that is an accountant, okay, but please, I will take you out for lunch. Okay, but please, I need you to just help me. With a lunch, you can get your has done. That's the power of relationship.
True. Wow, thank you so much. A round of applause for him. I hope we are following. So how many of us here already have business plans? Not in the realm of the spirit. You have it now, right here. You have it somewhere, but it's existing. Can I see your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's fine. Now, I would really encourage you to have a business plan, no matter how scanty it is. Write down business. It will help you to at least know what you're help you to plan, think. And he also mentioned proper knowledge. So where will you get proper knowledge? Somebody help us. Making research, proper knowledge, attending programs like these, submitting. Is that Mr. Matthew? Oh, I recognized you. We've never seen. Submitting for mentorship, yes. Being creative and curious will not lead you to proper knowledge, but it will open door. Some people can be so curious in a way that it can be even negative for their business. Right? How else? Reading books. I know we don't want to admit it, but reading books is very important. Somebody else has done the journey. Read their books so you don't have to make their mistakes. Is that okay? So then I'll take the second question. Still on the same question. Why do small businesses fail? In your own opinion, 1 or 2 points enough?
So back to what we were talking about when I was speaking, that many businesses start up because their objective is to make money. And making money cannot be a goal in itself, right? Your business has to exist beyond just making money. Unfortunately, what we see is many people have Me Too businesses. And the Me Too business is Khadija she's making money doing cake. Small flour like this, she don't make this. Me, so as I be bake.
Yeah.
And then I go and I start, and I may know how to bake, but I do not understand the business of baking. And these are two different things. And so, if I haven't submitted for mentorship, if it's not what I am most, I don't even want to use the word passion, because I say, does Dangote have a passion for doing cement? No. But if I don't have the vision of how far I want to take this, and it's just about me making a quick buck or two, when the opportunity no longer exists, when the industry takes a dive, and many industries will take a dive, right? Because almost every business is seasonal. It just depends on how big that season is. So the people that don't have a vision can't see beyond the season because they're living on a day-to-day basis. And so they will fold up and run, not realizing that it's just a season. It's like somebody decides to start selling raincoats because the head is huge. And then when dry season comes, they stop that business and run away without realizing that that's the best time to actually go to markets, right? To buy raincoats because it's so cheap. And then when the rainy season comes again, the business will go up on a higher cycle. So not understanding your cycles of business because you're not invested enough in it is one of the primary reasons why a lot of small businesses fail. That's what I think from my own.
I'm not getting a round of applause for that. Are we not following? Please talk to me, please.
I don't know
Talk
if you
to me.
understand what I'm
Are
coming
we not following? Are you following? You're following, right?
If you've been in business long
Don't
enough, you will
start.
know.
Yes, don't start business just for the purpose of making money. Okay, let me drive it a little bit home. There was this joke about how the Igbo man, typical Igbo man, starts his hotel business. So he comes out, he sees this hotel, sees this hotel, sees this hotel. Said there must be money in hotels. Say why? He said if there is no money, why is everybody building it? So then he goes to his village and he spends 500 million naira to build a hotel. Without understanding the hotel business, what it takes, how it functions, and what works and what doesn't work. That can be very destructive. I've been a professional trainer since 2011, right? But our business never even gained any momentum until around 2019, right? You have to have some kind of passion that will make you to do one thing that number of years as a young person. At a point, my sister had to support me. My younger brother had to support me, right? My mom had to call me. My mom believed so much in me, but she doesn't want to come off as not believing in me. So she was using style to tell me, listen, if something is not working, go and get a job. You're too bright for this, right? So she was using style to tell me that, look, not really bad to get a job. I said, I don't have a problem with getting a job. I'm okay to working, but this stuff, I know it's going to work. I know it's going to work. I just know it's going to work, right? So I had to do it for years. But then I see some of my mentees, they come up, they see the office, and they're like, oh, man, I want to just be like this. I said, listen, can you take this journey? It's a very long journey. I call it a long trek to freedom. It's not even a walk, it's trek. We trekked. Because we've never got any endorsement. I live in this city, but nobody sees me, nobody knows me. And yet I do a lot of things, because of the path I choose to follow. My point is, if it were to be just because of money, there are so many other way out. In fact, I've had opportunities to do one or two things, in the streets in Nigerian language. I could have easily given you money, but then you say, no, this does not align. To give me money, but it won't give me a business. I want to have a business. I want to have something I can be proud of. So don't just think about money. Are we saying money is not important? No. Money is very, very important. But you have to have something that is beyond money. It's like a marriage. You don't build it just on love. Because you wake up one day, you see the same person, you don't even know if I love this woman anymore or not, right? There has to be something more. And that's where you talk about the purpose. Why did I start this business? So please write it down. I agree totally with him. It's important to do business beyond money. In fact, if you study most of the successful businesses owned by whites, you find out that these guys do business beyond money. How do I know? Because sometimes they are willing to sacrifice money. And you're wondering, why are you throwing away all the money? You're supposed to be conserving money. Ope entered Nigeria with over 500 million naira. What kind of business is that? That's too much to start a business. And they were just spending money. Why? Because to them, it's not about the money. It's about the market. want to be able to be in everybody's device, then they will now talk about money. Take note of that. Thank you very much, sir. So I will also come to you with the same question. In your own experience, because we've had different experiences, what is that one or two reasons why startup businesses fail in Nigeria?
All right, thank you very much. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Afternoon.
My apologies for coming a bit late. It's not in my character to be late for anything. Those who know me know that I'm always on time. I was having a session and I'd run a time. And you know, when money is involved, you're careful not to cut the people off so that the full check comes in, so that you get your full alert. So apologies for being late. All right. I appreciate my people. I see some of my people here. Well done. Thank you for coming. So the question, as if you read, no, you're a Nigerian, so you have read part of my book, as far as starting a successful business. I wrote the book because of these kinds of questions, because starting and running a microfinance bank is a very tedious thing. And incidentally, the office is just down this road towards, if you're going towards Mountain of Fire, one of those plazas, Javi Plaza. We used to be there, but we moved to Central Business District now. And so I've interacted with many businesses, and I see why some of them failed and why some of them succeeded. So in saying two things that have caused businesses to fail in Nigeria, I would say the two prominent ones, there's several of them, but the two, since you asked for only two, I would say are vision and sales.
Vision and sales.
And sales, yes. If you go into a business without a plan, without a vision, he said business plan. In my book, I call it think on paper. You have to think on paper. And I think you said exactly the same thing as well. You have to think on paper. It's cheaper to think on paper. Why would you want to make the mistake of commuting money? Even if it's not your money, your father's money, your spouse, your relatives, you inherited it, it's still money. Somebody got it. Well, even if it's politics, there's a lot of work in it. You might think it's free money, but it wasn't free. So if you have money to be used for anything, take that time. Write a business plan, and as he said, write it yourself. And luckily for all of us in this room, we all have access to internet. And there are several templates, but where you'll be caught is when you do the financials. You need people like me to do your financials for you. And then, but I'm not taking lunch.
Letting money.
No, mine is straight.
Want it in cash, not in kind.
Cash, no. I won't take. So, but you can write your business plan yourself. And then you can ask your friends to look it over. But it's easier for you, because the disadvantage of asking your friend to look it over is your friend, may not want to hurt you, may not want to tell you the full truth. Whereas a dispassionate bystander that you've paid will give you the full professional advice. So you may want to consider that. And also, so the vision thing is that you don't just wake up, like he said, and because Khadija is doing well, she knows how to do what she knows. What do you know about it? Did you get the vision with her? What is your own? Go and dream your own dream and have your own vision. Everyone in the world has a purpose. And as I also said in my book, not everyone is supposed to do business. So let's just get that very clear right from the start. If it's not working, go and get a job. Maybe in the process of getting another job, it will train you to know how to run a business, because running a business is a very difficult thing. It is tedious. You have to do so many things. For a couple of years, you're not going to have any other life than the business. So it's important that you know the sacrifices. When you see all these people sitting here and they're looking shiny and all of that,
I think that's how it is.
No. This is not the beginning of their business. He said he died 2011. Ebuka, I don't know when you started, maybe forever, and all of that. So all of those years, hard work, when you didn't know them, they were grinding, they were doing the work. So vision is important. Because they had the vision, that's why they stayed the course. But when you don't have the vision, that's why you see this one, me too, and me too. And you'll be following people to start different business. Today, we know you are selling Titus fish. Tomorrow, it is a wrapper you're selling. Next time, it is everybody's doing hair now. Okay, before you know it, you're doing makeup only. So having your own vision, and it takes you time to sit down and get to the vision that is your own, not what everyone else is doing. You can be doing something that nobody thinks is money, but because you're good in it, because it's your vision, because you're driven by it, you will be successful. And then sales. Look, I consult for businesses and tell me business is not well. This bottom line, when you look at their financials, it is sales that is a problem. That is what kills businesses. If you're not selling, the business dies, and you don't expect only your family and friends to buy from you. After I've done a business that failed because there were no sales, because I relied on my family and friends. I'm just one person. How many friends can I have? And after a while, my friends will tell me I will come. They won't come. And so that's how the business. And when I call them, I've made the product I was doing at the time. I said, come now. They say I will come. Since today, they have not come. But we're friends. So sales killed that business. Every problem you have in business, okay. Almost because I hear that there's the one called village people. I don't know about that. Every other business problem you have, sales can solve it. So my 2 points would be vision and sales.
A round of applause for her. I have been a marketing consultant and also a sales specialist. So I couldn't agree more on the idea of sales. Sales is so important in business. It is so important in business that it's probably, I would have said, the most important thing. But let me just be polite. Let me just be politically correct and say one of the most important things. It is not the best writer that is known. It is the best seller. Best, some of you are right. You will be written, but children are afraid of you. But nobody here can vouch for your book. Nobody knows about your book. Before I came into Abuja, I told you some people were asking me, don't come into Abuja, nobody come for training in Abuja. As somebody told me, I've done a conference here, nobody came. I did a program, 5K, nobody came. The program is 5,000 for 2 days, and people came. And then we've been doing it now no longer 2 days, 1 month, because small business takes quite some time. And we've been doing it since I came to now. We're constantly having clients. In the same way, somebody said it's not working. Every time the business is not doing well, it's not village people, it's lack of sales. Sometimes they are all working together. Look, if people are patronizing you, it's like what I did in my group. I was telling them, I said, there is no business that cannot make you at least a multi-millionaire. There is no business. Even if your profit is 1K and you are able to sell to 5,000 persons every week, you can become a multi-millionaire. So people are saying, I need a creative business. There is no business that is lucrative. What you need is a business you can sell and of course, upscale or scale the business itself, depending on how you want to be the business. So please, if you are not here, every one of us is buy books, attend training. You can hire a coach on sales. Sales changed my own life. It changed my life. But if I go into the story, it's a long story. Because I would have been very, very frustrated if not that somebody picked me out from the crowd and said, you have what it takes, but you don't know how to sell. You are very good at what you do, but you don't know how to convince people to give you the money. And you have all these excuses. I have all those excuses. 99% of my clients are not just older than me. Sometimes they are like 10 years older. 90% of all of them. I've read, in fact, a young person in our program, you are happy, excited. Oh, you are young, that's good to see young faces, right? And then I'm like this. That's a challenge to most people. So you've got to let them say, oh, you don't just you have big stomach, you have. Then I show I use the son called the man. I said, I'm the man. I'm not asking myself. It's a constant challenge, but I've been able to break through. So you have big belly, you have what it takes. What is holding you back? I'm not talking to you, the person I'm talking to knows, not you. What is holding you back? It's because I don't have a good phone, you're not ready. The one you have, what I do with it, you're waiting by 12. You're not ready for business. When you are ready for business, you know that you need to hire this phone. You hire this phone. You just come to conference, maybe simply has a good phone, because ladies always have good phones. Give us. We used to take pictures and share on social media. Will you come and ask which phone I use? Is that your business? And then sometimes I say I don't have phones. You know, my English is not very good. I don't feel like I have enough money. You are just giving yourself excuses. Sales is very important. Okay? So moving forward. I have the book here, Speaking to Sell. Wow, coincidentally. Speaking to Sell, a book on how to make sales presentation as an entrepreneur, and a business person. So let me move into the second question very quickly. Write down your questions as well. Second question. Building requires planning and quality materials. Do we agree? We're talking about building businesses that will last. Building requires materials, requires planning. My question now is, what are the recommended materials? What are the recommended materials for building a successful business? Again, I'll take 1 or 2 points briefly. This time I'll start. Yes.
Well, part of what has already been said, number one is vision, right? So your idea will give birth to your vision. I have an idea for this, and then have a vision. Write down that vision so that it's clear. And when you're depressed and frustrated, which will come, right? And trying to fulfill that vision, like Adeoye says. I think if I have a product, somebody comes to me with an idea, I think more, is there a market for the idea? If there's a market for the idea, where's the market? Is it customers, is it other businesses, or is it government? So it's either from one of these 3 things, right? Customers, business, or business to government. Then the next thing I'll be, okay, what's the message I will tell them that will make a difference?
What's the message?
The message. So what's the message that should be a component of this, right? That will make a difference. And the idea is to start